What's up, everybody? Wow, I can't even do that.
That's okay. That's my line. What's going on, nerds?
I was going to say welcome back to day 3 of our coverage of the 2015 NFL Draft.
I don't think that's what's going on here.
That's not what this is.
That's all right, though. Well, we're going to do it live because we are doing it live.
We are doing it live.
We're at Nostalgia Inc. right now, so welcome back to Comic Book Nerd Nation episode number. I don't have my computer in front of me.
6-ish.
Somewhere in the 70s. We'll call it.
Close enough.
Yeah. This is our second time here for Free Comic Book Day at Nostalgia Inc. In the corner of your screen, you'll be able to see the incredible crowd. I'm pretty sure it's actually more people than were here last year, which last year was an absolute madhouse. This year, they actually had to bring in security guards.
They actually have 2 people here whose job it is to, quote, maintain order.
Yes. That's how you know you're doing it right on Free Comic Book Day. They've got 3 full tables, actually 4 full-length tables of the free comics. So this year, instead of bulking up on just like the Secret Wars, the Divergence, the main titles, they really spread out. That is really awesome.
I'm geeking out. That girl has a Lockheed on her shoulder.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome.
It's going to be really difficult for us to stay on point. We're going to have a hard time paying attention. Yes, next to a very good Star-Lord. That's awesome.
Hey, Kitty, did you make that Lockheed or did you find that somewhere?
I bought him because I have a costume for Kitty, and then I was coming up here and I couldn't find my undersuit for it.
That's
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. I got to get one of those.
He yelled at me.
So,
Assist from Star-Lord. Oh, I get it. Star-Lord and Kitty Fried.
Yeah.
Nice.
Free Comic Book Day. Let's talk about the free comics.
Free Comic Book Day, yes.
What did you pick up this year?
Let's see here. I picked up, there were several good ones.
I think we got pretty close to the same stuff, honestly.
Pretty much. The main one I was going for was
Secret Wars number zero.
And we'll probably talk about that here in a few minutes. But then I also, of course, got the all-new, all-different Avengers. And then the rest of them, there were several I was looking at. I ended up going with The Tick, just out of pure nostalgia, because that show was fantastic. And a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic. And then also grabbed, after Fox pointed it out to me, because I missed an entire table. There were so many tables, I didn't even see an entire table of free comic books. The Attack on Titan manga, which is an entire book, which is pretty cool.
So the only one that I got that you didn't pick up was Divergence, which I've already read it. It's fantastic. Let's jump in. Let's start with Secret Wars, since we both already read it.
I might go around to a couple other comic book stores this afternoon and pick up that one. There was a Fight Club one that I really wanted.
Yeah. There are quite a few.
Avatar: Last Airbender.
There's some good ones this year.
Nice.
There's some very, very good ones this year.
I mean, Free Comic Book Day, obviously, as you can see, is
gaining popularity.
Yeah, it's a pretty big thing these days. A lot of people come out for it, gets good turnout, and I mean, it's a really good way for comic book companies to kind of get their stuff out there. You know, say, hey, look, here's what we do. Try this for free. You can see it, and if you like it,
then buy it.
Hey, start buying our shit, you know.
But for me, what I'm impressed with in this particular store is that they got the spread of comics, so they have a little bit of something for everybody. If you look at the crowd, you've got youngsters, you've got adults, you've got everybody in between. So there's really a good mix of all different kinds of material for all ages, which I think is good for Free Comic Book Day because of the fact that the whole point of this is to try and gain new interest, and what better way to do that is than to reach your younger crowds. So what did you think of Secret Wars? We're not going to give away any spoilers or anything like that because everybody that's waiting in line right now would probably slap us in the face.
Yeah, you know, if you've been following Marvel and mainly like the Avengers storyline, New Avengers in particular, for the last couple years, there aren't really a whole lot of shockers in here. It's Secret Wars number 0 is kind of a lead-in issue. It's a bit of a teaser. Kind of sets up what's going to be happening in Secret Wars. The idea, if you haven't read any of New Avengers or heard anything about that, a little louder
for us.
Everybody's staring at us. It's weird.
That's all right. That's what we're here for.
Like that guy, he's laughing at us.
Yeah, that's what we're good for. That's what we're good for. store.
Let me get my clown
So,
costume.
see, yeah, right.
So basically, the gist is, a couple years ago, New Avengers started telling a storyline about incursions, and the idea here is, anybody who's read Marvel comics or comics in general, most of the superhero ones, knows there's all kinds of alternate timelines in other universes.
Right.
And the
It
concept
gets a
of
little
this
complex sometimes.
multiverse, yeah. So the issue we have is, the multiverse is collapsing. Different Earths are coming together, and like reality is warping, and you have two Earths smashing together basically. And if the Earths smash together, then
that's a problem.
Their entire, well, not only is the Earth destroyed, but their entire universe with it is gone, like erased from reality.
So essentially, at that point, it doesn't have to be Earth. It could be any planet in the universe if two planets collide from different multiverses.
Earth is what they call the incursion point. Earth is the source of it, so Earth is kind of the
focal point,
the point where they're connecting.
Makes sense.
Because everything happens on Earth. We're the most important.
Well, I mean,
planet in the universe.
It is where I live.
Right. So the idea is, the Avengers, the Illuminati in particular, kind of came together and decided that, how are we going to stop this? Well, it turns out that long term you can't. There are an infinite number of alternate universes, and so this is going to go on forever. There will always be another Earth trying to collide with their Earth. So at one point they get desperate and they decide, to build some weapons that can possibly blow up another Earth.
Right.
Because if the Earths don't collide, if one of the Earths is destroyed in the process,
right,
then both universes survive, just minus one of those Earths. So there's been a lot of stuff the last few years around the incursions, around how do we save our universe, and what Secret Wars here is going to be is the realization that in the end you can't. And,
kind of the culmination of this building storyline then.
So the Earth in this particular incursion that's coming into contact with the Marvel 616 universe, which is the standard Marvel universe,
right,
is Earth 1610, which is the Ultimate universe. So the Ultimate Spider-Man line, which has kind of been the most popular comic from that universe.
Now, how does that affect the Spider-Verse event that's been going on as well? Have you been keeping up with that?
I'm not quite current on it, so I don't know, but Spider-Verse is fairly related in that...
I'd be interested in that, asking Brian
all these
about
different
that.
Spider-Men from all these other alternate universes and timelines are all kind of coming together, too.
Right,
so,
right.
But the idea here is that, the mainstream Marvel Universe Earth and the Ultimate Universe Earth are going to collide, and they're going to create this battle world out of them. They're calling it Battle World, where it's just all these things from alternate universes that all kind of form together to form this planet, and remnants of all these smashed universes come together, and supposedly, this is game changing for Marvel because the universe is destroyed, gone. Done.
For good.
There will be battle
supposedly.
world, the heroes, some of them will survive, and things will go on for the characters, so it's not a reboot because the characters still have their history, but the universe and the Earth, as they know it, is going to be gone.
So, without giving away any of the story of Secret Wars issue 0, what do you think of it as a whole? I liked it. I thought, I haven't stayed up on the Avengers stuff, the storyline involving the incursions of the infinite number of Earths within the multiverse that are going to collide. But I feel like this is a great entry point. I feel like this is a good stepping stone to get into that, into this Secret Wars, into the Battle World stuff. And the way that they tell it really, no matter who your favorite superhero is, maybe not no matter, but you're probably going to see somebody that you're a big fan of, even just in this short 0 issue. with a focus on the younger Fantastic Four. I don't know the name.
It's the Future Foundation.
Future Foundation. Okay.
Yeah, Reed Richards a while back started, the Future Foundation around the time Johnny Storm died, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. He's back from the dead now. Everybody always is.
Of course.
But but he started the Future Foundation, which was kind of like it's almost like a science club for young geniuses, where he kind of tutors them and mentors them and finds like the smartest youth from around the Marvel universe.
Must have lost my invitation in the mail. That is clearly yours must be where mine is.
You would fit right in.
Yeah,
you would.
I feel like that.
So yeah, it's the Future Foundation. So like a couple of the Moloids, Franklin Richards, Valerie Richards, they're the Sue and Reed's kids. Just a lot of the really
I felt like it was
smart kids from around.
I felt like it was a good jumping off point, like a good perspective to kind of start the story from.
And then they have some flashbacks from. These are mostly panels.
This looks like Civil War.
This is it's the Illuminati,
or like the lead up to the Civil War,
which was kind of it was like part of that,
pre-Civil War stuff.
Yeah, New Avengers. Brian Michael Bendis started the Illuminati back in New Avengers around the time of Civil War. They disbanded them for years when it came to light that they existed, and everybody was like, "You can't have your super little secret club of people that determine the fate of the entire freaking world. Like that's kind of like borderline bad.
It's maybe not the best idea."
So, but. I don't remember. I think it was Reed Richards who discovered the first incursion event and called them back together and said, "Hey, we might need to reassemble this Illuminati to figure out what to do."
And then that's what kind of kicked off this storyline.
So you see the Illuminati in one of these panels, and actually all the flashbacks on here are these are all flashbacks from issues of New Avengers.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because I have been reading that series. Most of the stuff in here is from Avengers, New Avengers. Jonathan Hickman, who's been writing both, will be writing Secret Wars, has kind of been laying the groundwork for this for years. So, but yeah, it was a little teaser. It's a zero issue.
It's supposed to be.
Zero issues are supposed to be teasers. They're not supposed to be like moving plot along or anything like that, or big reveals.
Yeah.
Most of the time, but I thought it did the job well. It set it up. It kind of teased it, got people excited about it, but still filled in anybody who might not have known exactly what was going on.
Right.
But not in a way that made it feel like they were just like previously on just rehashing an old story. Like oh my god, I'm reading the Wikipedia article.
Right.
It wasn't like that. It was good. It was told in the frame of reference of Future Foundation, and I enjoyed it. So I'm really looking. I think the #1 issue comes out this coming Wednesday.
Yep.
So probably the day that we put this podcast out.
Yes,
so
the day
by
that
the
this
time you're
podcast
watching
comes out.
this,
it'll be out.
It will be.
Buy
out.
it.
I'm looking forward to it.
The other one that that I got a chance to read before we started recording today was The Divergence. I read the Justice League reading up to this, the Batman Endgame storyline, which was probably some of the best stuff. I know I say that about everything that Scott Snyder writes with Batman. Everything from New 52 Batman has been, in my opinion, top tier, story-wise, art-wise. I love what Greg Capullo's doing with that. The Endgame storyline, though, with the Joker having the Endgame virus and taking the Dionysium to make himself have like a healing factor, almost comparative to like a Wolverine style healing factor.
I haven't read it yet, but
which really adds a dynamic aspect to the storyline, because you can't just
healing factor would be
beat him up and call it a day. Now all of a sudden he's a very, very viable threat. It ends in a very, very climactic event, which I will not spoil because I'm working on that for Topher's sake of his blood pressure. Especially since you can't mute me because I'm sitting right here next to you.
I can't hear you.
Yeah. So Batman #40, if you haven't read it, read it. It's incredible. Make sure you read the whole Endgame, but #40 is awesome. Justice League #40 kind of also plays into this Divergence #1. Justice League 40, fantastic again. Gosh, I can't say enough about the stuff that Jeff Johns does. He's incredible. The Divergence #1 title is a amazing lead-in to the Darkseid War that's coming up in the Justice League books. It talks a lot about what's happening with Batman, and that's where I'm going to kind of leave that for now in case somebody in front of me hasn't heard what's going on. I don't want to catch a stray right cross.
Plug your ears.
Yeah. But the Dark Side War, I'm really excited about it because it looks to be potentially pitting Darkseid against Anti-Monitor, which
That
could have some weight to it.
a little bit.
You know, that could have some serious repercussions. So I like the direction that's going.
Have you seen Anti-Monitor since
I can't remember.
that one event with the stuff and
Fear
things?
or Forever Evil.
Forever Evil. There we go.
No,
Thank you.
This is not to my knowledge, at least. There may have been something out there that I missed. I can't read them all. It's kind of like Pokemon. Can you catch them all? No. Okay, fail. I'll file that one.
That was. I'm just gonna go on the record and say that was worse than the
Rock Lobster.
joke.
Worse than the Rock Lobster.
Worse
I don't
than
know.
the Rock Lobster
We'll
joke.
get a vote. We'll get a vote when everybody hears that. But on the opposite side of the divergence, you have the convergence stuff going on. I hate it. I read this week. I got caught up. I read all the way through Convergence number 4 of the main title. Strongly dislike the storyline in that the art's good, the story's not that good.
I picked it up. I still haven't read the last 2. I think. I just
It's hard to get motivated. It's not that exciting.
I've been buying it and I'm gonna read it. But it's not like.
I can't wait to read this.
It's not that it comes out and I'm like, oh, I gotta go read that right now.
Right.
I buy it. I'm like, yeah, I'll throw that on the pile. I'll get to it when I get to it.
Right.
It just.
Yeah, it's just
I
not
think-
doing it for me. Now, some of the side titles, I have been reading some of the side titles, and there is some stuff that I have really liked. I read, oh gosh, I can't even remember. I wish I would have written it down. I think there was a Justice League one that I read. I know or maybe it wasn't Justice League. I think there was a Green Lantern, and it was Green Lantern
Corps.
Parallax.
Oh, there was.
It was a Green Lantern Parallax one that I really enjoyed. I'm a big Green Lantern fan, though, so that stands to reason that I would enjoy that. Green Lantern Corps also I thought was really good. There was a Batman one I really enjoyed. And there was one other one that I can't remember that I read, but some of those are pretty good.
I've picked up
But-
a few of them, but I haven't read them yet. I think I've got the Nightwing and Oracle one, which I heard was actually pretty decent, one of the better ones. I picked up. There was one that just came out this week.
It really seems like there's more of the hero versus hero in the auxiliary titles than there is in the main Convergence titles.
Part of what's getting me about Convergence is the main heroes, the main storyline. It's the Earth 2. It's the Earth 2 Justice League.
Yes,
For the most part.
partially.
I mean, partially, right. At least so far from what I've read.
Right.
They seem to be kind of the main characters that at least so far. Maybe
Right.
not. Maybe that's changing. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of been told through the eyes of Thomas Wayne Batman from
Right.
Earth 2
And
Up-
so
until a climactic event
Oh,
in number
up until a
4,
climactic
which
event.
I will have to let you
okay, so
get to.
I'll catch
So there
up.
is something.
I'll catch up, but
Number
part
4
of it,
kind of ends good.
it was hard for me to get into it because I like DC. Obviously, I don't read nearly as many DC comics as I do Marvel.
Right, right.
But I like to stay up on the stories. I'm especially a huge Batman fan. I do collect all those, but I don't know. It didn't grab me. If you're gonna have some major crossover, I get that not every crossover has to be the main characters.
Right.
It doesn't have to be.
But it should have enough
they've been
identifiable characters.
they've been billing this as something to rival Secret Wars. And it
doesn't feel like it yet.
It doesn't feel like it. And I'm sorry, but when I read the entire, number 1 and number 2 issue, and all I've seen are people that I don't even know
Now,
who the hell they are.
as a Batman fan, I can tell you, coming from a fellow Batman fan, that at the end of number 4, there is something that happens. The latter half, basically the whole second half, actually, of the 4th issue of Convergence, there is some stuff that happens that you will really enjoy. That really, it's one of those moments that you're like, okay, I like this.
And I'm sure I will. But it's one of those things where if you're making a series and you're going to bill it the way that they've billed it and put it up against the things that they're putting it up against,
do better.
It's not a great way to grab readers' attention
Do better.
when you read the entire first issue, and the second issue, and like it's Earth 2 heroes. They're not the people I know.
Yeah.
Like I'm reading this and it's like the main characters are people.
That brings to
I don't even know
mind.
who these people
have
are.
you heard of?
I mean, like I know who they are, but I've never really read their comics, so I can't relate to these people. I don't necessarily care what's happening to them in particular. Like I want to know about the event,
right?
But through their eyes,
not so much.
It's not really grabbing me.
Yeah,
like it's not making me want to get to issue 4.
Are you familiar with Metron? That's not the new? Is that the new DC villain? I can't remember. I can't think of any. Well, regardless, I personally have not read much with, if anything, with him in it, and I think it was Justice League number 40. Yeah, Justice League number 40 that I just read last night, where it kind of goes through introducing him. So I'm pretty sure that that's the new villain that they were talking about a while back, introducing. Regardless. It's strangely similar to the Watcher from Marvel. In fact, in several panels, they actually call him the Observer, which is like, hang on a minute,
okay.
Like, you just took a character that is no longer in Marvel.
He's no longer in Marvel.
That was a pretty popular character. I really like the stuff with him. I found him a fascinating character. And then Jeff Johns I think the only thing that I've ever complained about anything that Jeff Johns has done, but like he's just taking it and kind of just twisting it a little bit and calling it a new character. And it's really, I mean, if you read it, it's very, very similar to what's his name, Uatu, yeah. Uatu, the Watcher.
I mean, there are so many characters at DC and Marvel that are like almost, sometimes blatant rip-offs of each other.
That doesn't happen.
I was reading an issue of Deadpool the other day, and I don't remember exactly what the part was, but he it was funny. He said something to somebody about them being derivative of something they were doing. He's like, wow, that's derivative. And somebody looks at him and he goes, okay, Slade.
Yeah. Okay, so before we move on to some other stuff and some news and everything like that, you just finished Original Sin. You've been trying to catch up. What was your thoughts of Original Sin? We've been waiting to hear this.
Yeah, I mean,
as a diehard Marvel fan.
We covered it a lot last week. I don't know that my opinions really changed since last time. Overall I enjoyed it. It was interesting. I'll be honest. I read there was a follow up they did, an Original Sin annual that came out like a few months after, like around a month or two after it ended, and it kind of told like the backstory of like Nick Fury's predecessor as the Man on the Wall,
right?
And like it was good. I liked that. I really liked that. Okay. So it was. They do a lot of stuff with Nick Fury's character in that, and I enjoyed the story. I thought introducing this entire secondary backstory to him was very ambitious.
Unnecessary?
Like I don't know about unnecessary.
Reaching?
Because, well, okay, so I don't want to in case somebody hasn't read it, I don't want to spoil everything about it, but
that's all right. It's not worth reading.
They did set up another character to follow in his footsteps on this, and so at first I thought they were just doing it to get rid of White Nick Fury from the Marvel universe,
right?
To make it look more like make it look more like the movies, more like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Well, I mean, they've had his son Nick Fury Jr., the one that looks like Samuel L. Jackson, has been in the mainstream Marvel continuity for a few years now.
Snakes on planes.
He's been in there for a few years now, but he's kind of he's only used in like he's in the Secret Avengers book. Outside of that, he doesn't really appear much.
I think I've read a few of those. I think I've read a few of those.
He's not like the over controlling mastermind of everything, that like White Nick Fury is.
Right.
So like it felt at first like they were just trying to get rid of the older Nick Fury. And that I was kind of the story was fine. I enjoyed the story. I didn't like that it seemed like they were getting rid of him just to get rid of him.
Just to do it.
Just to make the Nick Fury, Nick Fury of the Marvel Universe, the one that everybody recognizes from the movies.
Right.
But in the end, when it was finished, they did set up another character to follow in his footsteps, and then I realized that it was probably less about Nick Fury and more about giving this other character
transferring it over,
a history to work with,
spotlight,
a mantle to take on, and it's now going to be setting up his stories.
Yeah, I like that aspect of it. I like the direction that it could go.
So
I don't necessarily like the story itself, but
so I think it actually finished a little stronger than what I was thinking last week. Right. So I enjoyed it. It was different.
Let's move on. And you joined the Marvel Collector Corps, right?
I signed up.
All right, let's talk about this.
I get Loot Crate and Nerd Block, and I don't know, I might cancel some of them because that shit gets expensive.
Yeah, a little bit, I think.
But
here, let's put this down here where it's not blocking the camera.
I did sign up for the Marvel Collector Corps, and they just started this month with their Avengers box for Age of Ultron. And so far I like it. There's some good stuff in here.
This is amazing.
They give you the Marvel Collector Corps Captain America head pin. There's the Marvel Collector Corps Ultron patch. Some neat stuff in here. And then coming out just this past weekend is the Avengers Age of Ultron movie. So they had a T-shirt in there, and there were actually 4 different ones of these.
Hulk versus Ultron.
I got the Hulk one. There's a
that's awesome.
They're all versus Ultron, but there's also you can get there was Captain America, Thor,
Iron Man, probably,
and Iron Man.
Okay.
In different colors. So so that shirt was pretty neat.
This might be this second favorite thing coming out of the box.
And then they have there's this new company called Dorbs that are making these new vinyl figures. They're coming soon. They've got all these different Marvel characters, Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy. But the special one, the first one they released here as part of this part of this collection was the Ultron one, and it's kind of cool. It's like just a little figurine,
good for your desk, just kind of hang out
just,
there,
kind of
not take up a bunch of space. Yeah,
exactly. He's fun. I like him. So that's pretty neat.
This is my favorite. This is far. I might have to try and purchase this somewhere, if not from you directly.
You guys all know about the pop figurines, I'm sure, but exclusive to the Marvel Collector Corps is the Hulkbuster.
Oh my god!
This thing weighs a freaking ton.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy.
I've got several of these. I've got like some Batman ones, some X-Men ones.
I have a few myself, and none of them are as heavy duty as that one.
This thing weighs a freaking ton. Like it's a beefy. And he's a bobblehead too, apparently. But let's see if I can figure out which way to move him to get him to show up in the camera.
Yeah, the glare is real.
It's not a mirror image here. I'm like looking at it backwards. So yeah, that's pretty sick. But they've got an entire series of all the characters from the Age of Ultron movie, Ultron,
that's fantastic,
all the Avengers, and Vision. But yeah, this one apparently is exclusive to the Marvel Collector Corps, so I'm pretty excited about that one.
Join or look for it on eBay.
Right. And then the last thing they had in there was I bagged and boarded it. It just came loose, but a variant cover of the new Avengers Guardians of the Galaxy Team Up comic, issue #1. So I mean that's pretty cool. I mean, as far as subscription boxes go,
it's the best one I've ever seen.
Especially if you're a Marvel fan. I mean, you're not going to get like the occasional Star Wars item or Firefly or something else from another universe. But if you love Marvel,
right now is probably the best time to do it too, with all the promo stuff for Age of Ultron leading into Civil War and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're going to get some really cool stuff out of this. I will probably join this.
I've got Nerd Block, I've got Loot Crate, and every month there's at least 1 or 2 cool things in there.
And there's also stuff that you're
there's also some things that are like, what am I going to do with this?
Yeah, where am I going to put? Where would I put this?
I might have bought this one, but I wouldn't have bought the rest of these. So am I really getting my money's worth? Because it's kind of a package deal. Whereas this, I don't know that I necessarily would have, gone out and bought something like this, but paying $20 a month to get a
is that what it runs? $20 a month?
Something. I mean, with shipping plus shipping, so it depends. Like it averages.
Depends on where you're at.
Yeah, it's somewhere like between $20 and $25 a month.
Well, that's not too bad. That's pretty reasonable.
But I mean, like that's awesome. The patch is cool. There was nothing in this box that I didn't like. There was nothing that I was like, I mean, that's okay.
Whatever.
What am I going to do with that? I'm like, sweet, a figurine. Sweet, a bigger figurine.
Yeah.
Sweet, a comic book. Sweet, a patch and a pin. Like, it's just all. It was all good stuff.
Before we run out of battery life and time and energy and all things in general, let's talk some news. Let's cover some news. There's a boatload of stuff going on right now. So I'm just going to start picking. I have
Good Lord.
An
He's got,
absolute ton, like
at
2
least
pages.
2 full pages of notes here scrawled out to talk
All right,
about.
let's just take it from the top. Let's talk. Okay, first of all, we got our first look at Stephen Amell as Casey Jones. This was a picture that was tweeted out by Michael Bay. It's going to be in the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Did you see the picture?
I did not see the picture.
I have not seen the most recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Okay, yeah, pull it up on your tablet.
Oh, we don't have
no Wi-Fi here.
So.
The picture is. He looks pretty. I can't use the word that I really want to use because we're out in public, but it looks awesome. It really looks good.
I might have said shit in front of a little kid.
Yeah,
3 feet away
it happens
earlier.
from time to time.
Oops.
You'll have that. No, I really like. They didn't just give him the plain hockey mask. It's like a wraparound, kind of contouring, very aggressive look with the long. Here you go. I think we've got the picture coming up here. It's pretty sweet looking. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I love Stephen Amell. I love Casey Jones. So
Tell me that doesn't look sweet.
I don't see how the two together could be anything but awesome. There's a picture for you.
I like it. I like it. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to like the movie because Michael Bay, everything that he does is just complete garbage. Typically,
I love Stephen Amell.
I
love
hate
the
him
Teenage
for
Mutant
being
Ninja
in
Turtles.
this.
I love Casey Jones. I didn't even watch the first Michael Bay Turtles film.
I didn't either.
Every time I've seen
I'll probably go back and watch it at some
I'm
point.
sure I will if it ever shows up on Netflix.
If it ever shows up somewhere where I don't have to pay for it.
Maybe we could do that as one of our
roast. There you go.
Watch it for the first time.
There you go.
All together. Oh my God, what is this junk? It was every time I saw another preview for it, another commercial, like another scene, from another trailer or something, or somebody would do a guest spot on a talk show and they'd show a scene from it. Every scene made me glad more and more that I didn't go watch it, that I didn't go pay money to watch it.
Right.
Like it just.
Yeah. Yes.
It looked bad.
The next bit of news, last night or 2 nights ago, as we're recording this on Free Comic Book Day, Avengers Age of Ultron opened up in theaters everywhere. It did $27.6 million on Thursday night. 6th highest opening night in history. I'm kind of surprised that it was that low.
Well, it was
behind the final Harry Potter movie, The Dark Knight, and 3 Twilight films. Now hold on a minute here. What are we doing wrong as a society that 3 Twilight films made the top 5 opening night grossing? I'm just throwing that out there. I'm sure there's probably some Twilight fans in the room. I'm personally not a big one. I don't know about you. I know you've got the hoodie and the pants and the shirt and stuff at home. But how did Avengers not beat the Twilight films?
Well, I guess my question would be, is that the first night, as in, because this was a preview night. It was a Thursday night opening.
It was just Thursday night.
It was a Thursday night opening. Technically, the movie opened on Friday.
Yeah.
So the Thursday night showings didn't even start till like 7 or 8 o'clock. So
that could have.
And it might have been a limited release theater. It might not have been every theater. I don't
I'm
know
sure
exactly.
It was every theater.
I'm sure it was every theater that could get their grubby hands on the film.
Yeah.
But I don't know if first night if they're counting Friday nights.
I don't think they counted Friday night.
If the Twilight movies open on a Friday night, and,
that's going to be bigger,
and kids could go see them right after school at 4:00 in the afternoon, and they're counting.
Fair enough.
And they don't have to get up for school the next day. I mean, I normally don't go see movies on Thursdays, even though I go see them opening weekend. I think the opening weekend number is that figure is going to tell a much better story.
Different story.
I mean, I still haven't seen it yet. It's Saturday as we're recording this, obviously, but
I haven't seen it yet either.
I was going to watch it
maybe
last
tomorrow.
night. Then I'm going tomorrow night. So
Maybe we can go. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Another bit of news: Ryan Phillippe from. What's that movie?
Cruel Intentions.
Cruel Intentions.
That's what everybody
That's
knows
the only movie.
No, he was in that one with
that nobody cares about.
The hacker movie with Tim Robbins.
I rest my case.
Something. What was that called? She
sure.
doesn't remember either.
Fair enough. Okay, so Ryan Phillippe has a interview with Howard Stern, and during the course of this interview, he told Howard that Marvel has approached him about a Netflix role. Didn't make mention to what the role was or what the show would be. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it. I don't even know who it's going to be, and I don't like it. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of his.
He's got some TV series going right now that I've heard is pretty decent.
Really?
Actually.
Maybe that would change my mind, but
I mean, Cruel Intentions was, 15 years ago?
And I still don't want to talk about it.
I mean, Daredevil was how many years ago? And Ben Affleck's going to be Batman now.
Still getting flack about it.
Are you over that one?
I'm over that one. All right.
So, it's like,
okay.
He doesn't seem like a terrible actor to me. I guess the question is, who's he going to play? Because he could either be a villain, or some people are talking that he might be Iron Fist.
I would rather see him as a villain, I think.
He normally doesn't get cast as a villain, though. Like, he's one of those, pretty boy face,
that's true,
normally like the smiling hero.
Yeah.
So visually, he kind of looks Iron Fist to me.
All right.
So I don't know if they'll go that route or not. But I mean, Luke Cage is already cast, and I don't think Ryan Phillippe would really qualify for that role.
No, not at all.
Same with Jessica Jones.
Not
really equipped.
Maybe.
Maybe. I never know.
CBS reportedly will debut the trailer for their upcoming Supergirl TV show on May 14th. I'm excited to check this out.
I hadn't heard that yet, but
I think that's going to be neat. I think it's going to be neat.
It's the same showrunners who were doing Arrow and Flash.
Right? Yeah.
So
they pretty much can't do wrong right now.
I don't see how it can go wrong.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so here's a big one. We all know about Batfleck. We all know, the Dawn of Justice, blah, blah, blah.
I forgot to get my... Hold on. Keep talking.
Okay. There are rumors that Ben Affleck has been on set for the Suicide Squad movie, which is currently filming with Jared Leto as the Joker. And there's a lot of people that are pretty convinced there's some...
Probably going to be a cameo, maybe him...
There's some fairly convincing...
Visiting Joker, maybe?
There's some fairly convincing photos on set of what looks to be them attempting to conceal Ben Affleck. And it got really quiet here.
It did get
I don't know
really
if you
quiet
noticed
here.
that. It got really quiet.
Either the loud people all just
now I
checked
feel
out
like
and left,
everybody's paying attention to us, which is really awkward, but that's okay. We're going to keep it rolling. There we go.
And when is this going to air?
This will be on next Wednesday.
On YouTube
Next Wednesday.
Yeah, I follow the YouTube.
All right,
Cool.
fantastic.
Paid attention.
Daredevil.
Because you were here last year.
Smile for the camera.
All right, there we go. Daredevil, the Netflix show. Everybody's watching it. If you're not watching it, you're doing it wrong. A recent poll showed that Daredevil topped the Netflix charts with 50% more viewers than the second place show, which was House of Cards.
Wow.
That's a huge gap.
That's not surprising. I mean,
Netflix is out there for a lot of people, and for a comic book show, I mean, House of Cards, something like House of Cards is definitely aimed at a much wider audience, I feel, than something like Daredevil that is,
Yeah, but
I mean, it doesn't surprise me because Daredevil is amazing.
You have to think though. I mean, like House of Cards is a more of an adult themed show. I don't think there's a whole lot of kids watching.
I would say Daredevil
Daredevil
is as well.
Daredevil is, but the Marvel movies have been so big and had such universal appeal.
Fair enough.
I mean, like they've been showing like multi-million-dollar budget commercials for this series, for years. Basically, if you think about the movies being resumes for Marvel's work, like in everything. So I mean, with it coming out and how many people there are of fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like if House of Cards had years of movies leading up to that had been box office smash records, then everybody would be sitting there, waiting for the next season to be released, refreshing Netflix every 5 seconds waiting for it to come out. Like I don't think you get House of Cards fanboying like you do for comic books. So,
not at all. Actor Daniel Brohl from, you might know him from Bourne Ultimatum or Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, that guy. Mm-hmm.
He has confirmed that he will be playing Baron Zemo in the Captain America Civil War movie. I don't really know this actor too well, and I'm not overly familiar with the character Captain Zemo. Baron Zemo. Clearly, I'm not that familiar with him.
He was a Hydra guy.
I have an idea. Why don't we ask Brian what he thinks about that?
I was going to say go back to Batfleck. I finally got it. I got it.
Okay.
So what were you talking about? Batfleck?
He's possibly going to come into the Suicide Squad movie.
What do you think about that, Brian? I think it's poop. Poop. There we go.
We had to do that just because we said we
was actually here.
It was, that was.
Did you guys notice a difference?
I didn't.
Nope.
Other than the fact that he was bouncing back and forth and not moving his mouth, no.
Sometimes when he's wearing a mask, he kind of bounces around and you can't see his mouth move.
Fair enough.
Same thing.
We'll count it. Next time we'll get a picture of him with a mask on. Whatever. We got our first look at Will Smith as Deadshot for the Suicide Squad movie. This has been an absolutely hot topic on our Facebook page.
Really?
Lots of debates, lots of pictures going up of examples of appearances of Deadshot throughout comic book history. I don't necessarily like the choice of Will Smith as Deadshot, but I thought the picture was pretty good. I thought it looked pretty good.
I haven't seen the picture. But
maybe I'm a little more forgiving than most.
I mean, I'm pretty forgiving. There are a lot of people here. Hopefully, none of them are listening when I say that I didn't hate the Daredevil movie. But I've always. I mean, every time you've asked my opinion about like, oh, what do you think of Jared Leto's Joker? What do you think about Batfleck? What do you think about?
Right.
Like, I'm always like, I could see how it could work. I'm willing to give it a shot. Like I'm withholding judgment till I actually see him doing it.
Fair enough.
Will Smith is one of those. That's really trying the limits of my.
Reaching out there pretty far. Yeah, I agree.
I just.
He's done some stuff that I really like.
I don't dislike Will Smith as an actor, but Will Smith in every movie plays Will Smith.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't dislike his movies. I actually like most of his movies. Independence Day, I Am Legend. I really like those movies. But
he's the same character
Will Smith
every time.
in every single one of them. So, how is he going to be in this? I don't know. And the problem is, Will Smith in all these movies is always, like we just said about Ryan Felipe, he's always the smiling, charismatic hero.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Deadshot. So I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess I'll have to see. Maybe he will change my mind, but I'm a little iffier on this one than I am on a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I like the picture. It's the acting portion that I'm not too looking forward to too much.
If he can do the hard ass thing, then there's the picture.
I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, it's up on our Facebook page. If you're interested in joining in on the discussion, the debate of what you think about the first look of Will Smith as Deadshot, jump over there, join the discussion. Brian will probably try to let you have it. But that's that.
It's a good look. I still think my biggest problem with it isn't necessarily Will Smith, but it's the fact that we had a Deadshot that I really liked in Arrow.
Yeah.
So
agreed,
why...
but I think they're trying to distance the cinematic, which is
they are, and
maybe
they've said,
not a good
and they've
thing.
said
Maybe
that
it is. I don't know.
they've said that their TV properties and their movies are not going to cross over. They are in separate universes, and I understand that. So like obviously it's not going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
But how many characters does DC have? Would you venture to say?
A boatload.
Yeah, hundreds, thousands. I mean, Marvel I know has come out and said that they have like 9,000 characters like in total.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously most of those
Boatloads.
are probably Z-list, but
Right. Even so,
there are plenty of villains. There are plenty of heroes. Why do you have two concurrent franchises and you have character overlap?
Yeah, running the same
How,
characters.
with thousands of characters in your stable,
Little
how do you have
lack of
character
foresight
overlap?
there. It feels like.
Like I just.
So the last bit of news that we have today, it's unfortunate that Pirate's not here because I think that this is something that he's definitely excited about. There's a rumor, it's
I've got one more
unconfirmed.
for you.
It's unconfirmed at this point. I don't know how much validity there is to this, but there's a rumor out there that Marvel will be producing a Punisher series for Netflix. I am totally for it. If it gives them the opportunity to finally do Punisher right, do a grittier take of it, even more so than the Daredevil series that's out there, I think that they could really, really reach a big audience very quickly and up the stock in Frank Castle pretty fast. So I think that could be really good.
Yeah, I mean, the couple of Punisher movies, I still never saw the most recent Punisher movie, Punisher Warzone, I think.
Yeah.
But like, some of them, they've had the potential to be really good. I've enjoyed them, and if they can actually do a Punisher series that's as dark, if they have the opportunity to make one, I mean, look at Daredevil. I mean, it's dark, it's serious, it's heavy. It's very visceral. And if they can do a visceral Punisher series,
oh man,
perfect,
off the charts,
perfect. Because
perfect outlet, I feel like for that title,
especially with the Punisher. I mean, there are a lot of superhero origin stories, and a lot of them make for good movies. Punisher really doesn't to me. Punisher. I mean, the character is all
it's
about...
It's the same as any other action movie.
The character is all about revenge. It's all about revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And they always say it's a dish best served cold. You can't tell a good revenge story in an hour-and-a-half movie.
Right.
You can't, because it doesn't have time to fester. It doesn't have time to really sink in.
To build that
gravity. You don't have time to want it so bad that when you finally get that payoff at the end, that it really feels satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
So, but a 13-episode series, 13 hours. Now we're talking.
All right.
Now I can see that vengeance aspect of vengeance. We're almost getting into Ghost Rider territory there, but but you can really get the Punisher. Like,
that was a bad movie. That's one that we might have to roast. Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider.
That's terrible.
Didn't they do two of them too?
They did. I never even watched the second one. It was so bad. A friend of mine always likes to say that he's not actually playing Johnny Blaze. He's playing Nicolas Cage is playing Nicolas Cage
on fire,
doing an impression of Elvis, who's doing an impression of Johnny Blaze.
Wow. That's pretty ridiculous. So what's the last bit of news?
So
you got another
one
that I didn't.
Yeah, I heard the other day that Marvel has been in talks with a few actors to play the rebooted Spider-Man.
Ooh, I was hoping you were going to say Spider-Man.
And so they've had a short list for a while now, but one of the names has kind of risen to the top here. Nothing's been confirmed by anybody. These are still just rumors, but there have been unconfirmed rumors that they've been in fairly serious talks that they're going after Asa Butterfield.
And what is Asa Butterfield?
He was Ender in Ender's Game.
Never seen it.
The movie came out a couple of years ago.
According to your girlfriend, who's just off camera, I am doing it wrong.
She's squeeing in silence over here. So I mean, I'm been trying to load a freaking picture here, but my phone is disappointing me.
It looks
I
like
like
it was
it.
ran over by a semi truck.
It was a little run over by a semi truck. So, yep, here we go. Oh no, crap! I hit the wrong button.
Okay.
It's okay. I'll learn how to use a phone here soon. So
All right.
so this is Asa Butterfield in a panel at San Diego Comic-Con last year, and he was the protagonist
All right.
in
I
Ender's
like
Game.
that.
The
It's
movie that came
younger,
out a couple
slightly
years
younger,
ago with
slightly
Harrison
younger
Ford.
Spider-Man. I like that.
But I like it. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
that looks
that
like a
fits.
young Peter Parker to me, and he's 18.
Okay.
So he's
So
actually,
the
you know,
age kinda
he's
fits.
actually like the.
It's not
the-
like a
It's
37-year-old
not like
playing a
Andrew
17-year-old.
Garfield and Tobey Maguire, who were like 26, 27, 28, you know, when they were playing a high school student,
Yes.
you know, and it
Which
just
is
looks too
totally
old for the part.
weird, yeah.
Like, this looks like a younger, more impressionable, you know,
I got
like
it.
a
Got
hero
that-
potential
that young innocence
character.
look to
I
him, yeah.
like it. I
do too.
really
I
like
do
it.
too.
I would be super happy with that casting. So I really hope those rumors are true and that they strike up a deal, because I
Well,
like it.
We'll have to stay up on that, and we'll maybe talk about that next week if we hear anything. First of all, that's about it for the news. That's pretty much it. We want to thank the owners, the management, everybody here at Nostalgia Inc. for having us out. The crowd was a bunch of fun, as you guys can see. It has been packed. It's been a nonstop train of people just coming through this entire time. If you didn't go out, because this is obviously we're recording it on Free Comic Book Day, it's coming out
Haven't
after.
gone out yet.
If
Well,
didn't-
you missed it.
If you, well, then it's
Tune
too
in
bad.
next year.
If you didn't go out and support your local brick and mortar comic book store on Free Comic Book Day, go out today as you're seeing this Wednesday. Pick up the new stuff. Pick up Secret Wars #1. Go out, buy a couple extra comics this week, and support the brick and mortar stuff. There's plenty of us out there, myself included, that do the digital thing. But this is the time to help build the comic book community. It's catching on for sure. You can see it in the video that you're watching now. There's tons of young people, old people, all different varieties of life that are really subscribing to comic entertainment now. So let's keep the ball rolling. That's about it. I'm Fox 2.
I'm Pooper.
See ya.
This is Brian.
Poop.
Wait, Brian.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and we're using Pirate's camera, so
Yeah.
we can sort of give
Thanks,
him
Pirate.
Thanks. He's not here. He's fishing. Why is fishing more important than comics?
It's not. It's not.
Fail.